This actual play is intended for mature audiences and contains themes some viewers may find upsetting. Please check each episode's show notes for specific content warnings and enjoy the show with care.
The Old Fire.
Narrate a flashback to your initiation as a Crux Druid, when you first heard the lands speak clearly through the suffering. Who was bound to the tree, and what small mercy did you grant them before the rite began? Nerid's eyes are full of all the horror they can hold. He is a willowy thing, an initiate a little longer than Calyxe, but his back is strong. He has endured much, and he has shown suffering upon suffering for the land. Calyxe admires him. The first time she met him, they were at a binding ritual. The Grand Dryad stepped forward, binding two Crux Druids together to eternity. Two souls finding one another in the black. It was beautiful and captivating, and when Nerid's hand slipped into Calyxe's, she knew. She would be bound to this man, to the end of time. But as their own binding approaches, something is wrong. Nerid's eyes are wide and fearful. They hold despair. Don't you think, he asks her, don't you think maybe there is another way? Must we be bound? Could not perhaps we just go out into the world together and speak the words, remain initiate forever? And Calyxe looks at him and knows that something has gone awry, something has gone wrong with the way he thinks, with the way he gives. You are simply nervous, my darling. Do not fret. Do not worry. For in the morrow, in the darkness and in the torchlight, everything the Grand Dryad has said of us will be right. We will be one with the earth and with one another, and we will be bound. Do not fret. Cold feet, as they say. And that night, she feels his hands over her cheek, brushing through her hair. It's curious. It's affection. Something is wrong. The great glade of the Grand Dryad is encircled by a copse of silver birch trees. It is night when they both arrive, hand in hand, their feet bleeding from the pilgrimage they have made to this sacred place. The Grand Dryad can only be summoned for a series of rites and rituals that the Crux Druids themselves know only as the Four. Binding is one of the four. As they step into the torchlight and as Calyxe can feel Nerid's hand shaking in hers, she knows something is wrong. And she knows what is wrong. She approaches. She lays herself down upon the barren earth and digs her hands up to the wrists in the mud and the grit and the roots, and she feels them begin to pierce her skin. The splinters begin to intercede with the web between them. I summon thee, Grand Dryad. I summon thee to bind me. I summon thee here. I summon thee now. She can feel the eyes in the darkness through the copse. She can feel the earth rumble and begin to split and crack, and the Grand Dryad emerges, eyes hollow and full of dirt, nose stuffed with mud, mouth coughing, hacking at great clods that fall from her. Nerid moves forward towards her. That is not part of the ceremony. One of Calyxe's hands comes out and stops him. He knows better than this. What? Calyxe raises herself as the Grand Dryad turns to them. I see two souls, ready to bind, ready to weave like wicker. I see you both, initiates, and you are ready. Calyxe is about to open herself up to the Dryad when she sees Nerid with the knife. He lunges for the Grand Dryad, the blade glinting in the moonlight, and Calyxe cannot stop herself. Calyxe is in front of the blade before she knows what is happening. Nerid's eyes grow wide with even greater horrors. Calyxe pushes herself onto the knife. Pushes herself until Nerid and her are so close they are sharing breath. She takes her own knife and stabs him in the neck. The blade is slow. It penetrates. And she listens to him squeal and scream like a pig. Disgusting. Disgust at pain, at suffering. Nerid is not who she thought he was. She peels back the mud that slicks from his forehead, that coats him from the forehead down to his neck and down his arms. She wipes the mud from his face. And she sees it. The sap had bleached his eyes black like hers. But through the sap, the skin is opalescent. And there is a scar there. Calyxe pulls herself from the knife. The pain means nothing to her. Suffering is what the land feels. She has suffered since the day she was born, but Nerid is not a crux druid. She brings him down to his knees in front of the Dryad and bows her head. The shame of it. Grand Dryad, I have brought what I thought was a druid here. It is an imposter, a traitor. And she rips back that head and shows the scar on his forehead. He is from the cult of the Leviathan. I did not see it before. But I give him to you now. I beg your forgiveness. Please, allow me to prove myself. Allow me to make an offering of him. Make him an oracle. Make him speak truth of the lies that his tongue has held. The Grand Druid looks at her with eyes that do not see. A binding will not take place this day, but an initiation instead. Make your first oracle, Calyxe of the Verdant Crucible. Make him speak. Calyxe hauls the willowy man to his feet, raises his arms above his head. It is a small mercy that she is not going to nail each hand individually. It will be one nail that penetrates both wrists. And she knows he can feel it, for he's still squealing. He's still screaming. And as the nail hammers in, those squeals, those screams begin to sound like truth. She nails every part of his body she sees fit. His hands in particular, the part that touched her that showed affection, not obsession, not devotion. Those are the parts she focuses on the most. And as his eyes begin to roll back, and as his tongue begins to finally speak truth, he leans forward to her. Tell me your truth, Oracle. Tell me your truth. It's a girl. Calyxe's hand reaches to her stomach. She knows finally this traitor speaks true.
Start of session. We don't have any mystery to recap, but I do want to check in with each of the embers. In particular, I want to talk about any advancements you might have taken since last time. I think everyone advanced, correct? In which case, I'd like to just learn what you chose. Start with Ash.
I chose that brothers may stand. Up to 3 summoned knights will not disappear when named.
Fantastic. Let's go to Theia of the Theia the Waxing Tone. What did you choose?
I chose to increase my cinder by 1, bringing it to a mighty -1.
Yes, I always think that's a good move right there. My intuition is that's a good move. Calyxe, what'd you take?
I also decided to increase my cinder to an absolutely amazing -1.
And Fenwyn, what'd you take?
I took the move whose walls recall wind, and I now have near superhuman dexterity and climbing ability.
Fantastic. I think as the Pale Crossing finally reaches its journey, reaches the shores of the lands remaining, the first thing you'll see is a large expanse of trees. You're essentially being dropped off right outside of a tree line. And Theia, as you step onto the shore, you will hear and maybe even see blue Elsayin in the sky, commanding you to comfort the dying with a song. And with that, let's begin at the Great Forest. The Great Forest, called Khaldun in the language of the Fae, and the Emerald Expanse by its current lord, is one of the lands remaining. It is a vast temperate forest, the size of a large kingdom, with many deep unexplored parts. Small fiefdoms were located on its outer edge during the time of the Old Fire, and remnants of those places can still be found there. The true beating heart of the Great Forest, however, were the large Fae settlements, most now fallen to ruin and rot, and one, the great Fae city of Lyralen, having disappeared entirely. The Great Forest is now a place of fell beasts, and ruled by an ancient dragon, Noxiliax, the Emerald Nightmare, a glimmering winged horror that is rarely seen in the flesh, but felt in every tree and trail, and represented on the ground by its numerous human followers. You have a very quick moment to prepare. Ash, if you would like to call forth some knights, this is the time to do it.
I would love to.
Let's go ahead and get that move rolled. When you call upon the Nameless Legion for help, please roll with Cinder.
the lovely -2 that I did not upgrade. That's fine. Box. So that's a 10.
10. Fantastic. Please roll another die, and that many knights will appear.
2.
2 knights. What does that look like, just so we have the scene? Like, what does the calling look like? What does it look like as they appear?
I think as we are stepping foot into the forest, there's not a great amount of flash to anything that Ash does. And so they're walking and he puts a hand out to either side of him. Come with me if you can. Breach the land you are to this one and walk beside. And one hand braces each of his as they emerge almost from the ether, walking into this plane, but then fading slightly.
If anyone needs to clear another condition, you can do so by marking an aspect. That's always an option. I don't think we've seen anyone do that yet, but you can do that if you don't want to wait for make camp to be able to do it. Otherwise, you start in the Great Forest with a struggle. The first movement of that struggle goes like this. You've been traveling through the forest for some time. And as you work your way deeper into the dark heart of the forest, the knotted trees suddenly thin, opening out into a large clearing. Sunlight tries to force its way through the patchy canopy, catching the edges of a pair of boots, toes pointing motionless towards the sky. As you approach, you see a pair of legs, buckled and broken, cresting the lip of a shallow hole filled with stagnant groundwater. Beneath the surface, the crumpled form of what was probably some poor forager, crushed into a muddy pulp of earth and bone. You notice more shallow pools in 2 rows, leading off through a large gap in the trees, splintered and broken. The realization comes too late that these are giant cloven hoof prints, each twice as long as a man is high. The water gathered around the forager begins to ripple in time with the boom, boom, boom of quickening tremors, getting closer and closer. The trees sway and snap, timber crashing to the ground. A huge creature comes lumbering into the glade. You have stumbled into the path of Old Gore the Unkillable, a legendary ancient beast relentlessly hunted since the time before the Old Fire. It takes the form of an elder boar, standing so impossibly tall, the spines that run along its back break through the tree line above. Its massive head is ridged with a crest of bone that ends at the wide, slobbering snout, lined with jagged tusks capable of rending even the thickest of armor plates. Let's paint the scene. As the hulking mass of Old Gore comes into full view, what horrifying feature do you notice that is incongruous to that of a boar-like animal?
In between these large, jagged tusks are spindly. They almost look like hairs from a distance, but as you grow closer, you realize they are spiny, mobile extensions, almost like legs of some ant-like creature that spread out from his mouth and hang down.
I think that as it lumbers into the glade, we see it is dragging something behind it, and it is a thick, muscular tail that ends in a bony club.
As the snout comes into view, We see great curls of the tusks that boars would have, but these tusks are lumpy, clumped, clodded, because they hold upon them the bodies, the heads, the limbs, pierced, skewered, of those that would hunt and have become hunted.
Its legs have tendrils emanating from their sides, which stroke the trees and wrap around them and hold them and pull them and shape them to its will.
To all of you, Old Gore's milky white eyes narrow as it spots you. It lets out a deep bellow as it scrapes a hoof through the mud. It readies a charge. It rears back, then careens toward you with thunderous, earth-shaking speed. Please describe how you avoid or resist the charge, and then roll the dark move. I'm going to start with Fenwyn.
Fenwyn has already assessed the situation and broken this scene down into its component parts, and realizes that being on the forest floor means near certain death. He must get out of the way, and that means getting up high. And he moves forward towards the charging creature. Ash will feel the barest of dints on his armor as Fenwyn uses a foot to climb up, then hops to a bent branch that's leaning down, then bounces off one of the tusks of the creature as it gets higher, 1 foot on the brow, then up its back and along and into the tree line to safety.
Now, because of the move you just took, that changes, your move changes what would be a dark move into a light move. And so what are you afraid is going to happen right now if you fail?
I'm afraid that the spot that I'll find myself in, it will be in the kind of grip of those tendrils that are following behind, and I'll become ensnared in those.
Go ahead and roll with vitality, please.
8.
Theia, how do you resist or avoid the charge of the pig?
Theia sees Fenwyn do this acrobatic leap into the trees and watches with interest and thinks to herself, well, I can't do that. She glances back over to the beast and at those milky white eyes, and she says, oh, strange pig, are you blind? She lets out, from nowhere it seems, a booming, echoing, animalistic roar. But it doesn't seem to come towards the beast from her mouth, but rather bounce around the clearing and come from another side. Hopefully that might distract it a little and draw it in that direction.
Fantastic. This is going to be, oh gosh, I think this is probably... Is this a particular move or relic you're using?
No, I'm just doing stuff.
Okay, I'm into it. I think this is probably... Let's go with reason then for quick thinking.
Okay, I like that.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That it will scare the creature instead of distracting it and make it run faster.
Oh yeah, it's worse than that. You get trampled completely.
Great.
Go ahead and roll with reason.
That's... Oh no, that's a 4.
Fantastic. To be clear, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the scene yet. We're just getting dice on the table. So I'm going to ask you, Ash, how do you try to avoid or resist?
Ash will try to resist as Old Gore is charging ahead. He is going to wait until the absolute final moment where it looks like there is no possible escape, and then roll between the legs to take the name taker and stab it upwards into the gut to slide down along his belly.
Nice. Fantastic. This is going to be with vitality. What do you think is going to happen if you fail?
I'm going to get trampled under a hoof.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's worse than that. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because you're strained as well.
Okay. I am going to mark a longsword of flawless steel.
Fantastic. 2d6 plus vitality.
9.
And finally, let's go to Calyxe. How do you try to dodge or resist?
Calyxe will attempt to resist. Old Gore is the pinnacle of what suffering is. He has seen 1,000 fights. He is bearing 1,000 scars. He is feeding the land like there is nothing else. And she is not here to stop that. She does not want to interrupt with the Earth's grand design. And she pulls out the Tenderbark Confessor, that great long twisted staff, and just grounds herself and makes herself part and one with the earth and ready to feed it with the suffering that Old Gore is providing, and will stay completely still.
This is going to be with composure. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid that staying still will be a very bad idea, and I will be trampled into the earth alongside Ash.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And you're going to be rolling with Cinder.
Okay, excellent. Just a -1. So a 6.
Fantastic. Yeah, that was definitely a Cinder roll, not a Presence roll for sure. What'd you get?
6.
6. I've got 2 misses on the table. I've got 2 mixed on the table. Let's see what this scene looks like. Fenwyn, I have to tell you how you'll be vulnerable, and you can choose to go through with that or not. The way you're going to be vulnerable is you are not going to get caught up in the tendrils on its hindquarters. However, one of your... Do you have a piece of equipment? Yes, you do. Your Crypt Knight's pauldron is going to get wrenched off of you and possibly destroyed.
Well, I feel in a way honor bound to keep that. So what are my options?
You can do something different and possibly trigger another roll, or you could just take it, or you can mark an old fire to bump it up to a 10.
I'll take the old fire. I'll mark the old fire.
Fantastic. Please describe how you cleanly get away.
So it's a pretty much flawless escape, obviously. And I think that to incorporate that complication, that was the potential complication, that I actually end up overshooting Old Gore as he thunders by below me. And I end up having to kind of dance along the tendrils that are attached to the tree, these kind of very fine filaments. But they don't even seem to show any give as I move. I get up into the tree and I kind of swing around to look at the carnage below and figure out my next move.
Theia, you let out this cry. You do this voice work, and you can see the milky eyes of Old Gore, almost like Othello pieces flipped upside down. They turn black, and then before you even realize what's going on, you are trampled under hoof. Ash, it's so quick. The pulverization is so fast and total that Theia is not even aware of what happens. But Ash, you see it. You see Theia just completely pulped under Old Gore's hoof. It's just like a pop and a tear, and there's just a smear of blood and cloth as you get ready to dive under. I think this works just fine. I'm going to give you a condition. Basically, I'm going to give you a condition. I think you pull. You dislocate your shoulder.
If I use one of my knights to bring my 9 to a 10, can I keep my shoulder in its place?
Absolutely. Describe how.
Thank-
Give me the scene then.
As Ash is stabbing Nametaker up into the underbelly of Old Gore, he feels the wrenching, and there is a ghostly hand that joins his on Nametaker, holding him steady. And he looks over his shoulder at the knight there. The visage is still blurred, but it's still enough that he can carry through and bring Nametaker down.
Calyxe, you thrust the Tenderbark Confessor down into the ground. You brace yourself, and yes, Old Gore is so big and so just powerful and total that by the time you open your eyes, you're dead. You've just been split in half by a tusk. Indeed, when you finally get on your feet, Fenwyn, and turn to kind of see what's happening, it almost looks like Calyxe is flying. When did Calyxe get that power? But no, it's not. It's just the upper half of Calyxe's body suspended on a tusk, bouncing up and down. As Old Gore readies for another charge. Let me check in with my dead embers. I assume you were going to be stoking the fire.
I shall stoke the old fire.
Indeed, mark that.
I will also stoke the old fire.
Instead, I'm not going to give you any extra complication. Each of you please just describe how you narrowly avoid being gored or trampled.
Those eyes flip from white to black. And Theia says, "Oh, not blind then." And just thrusts herself forwards onto her stomach, flat on the ground, makes herself small so that hoof goes over instead of onto her.
Calyxe is so enthralled by the pain, by the suffering, and is so completely deafened by that religious ecstasy that has overcome her in this moment, that as the hoof rises above her, it is at the very last moment she realizes that on this occasion, the earth may be wrong. And she uses the Tenderbark Confessor as almost like leverage and just hoists herself out of the way very fast as the hoof comes down, and she can see the spikes, the tendrils, those million legs crawling next to her.
There's something very beautiful about having this philosophical approach that gives way entirely to Big Pig barreling down on top of you.
When in doubt, follow Big Pig.
I love it. The second movement. In the ensuing chaos, you're all split up. The rampaging titan stamps and brays. The forest floor is churned into quagmire. Defending its territory, Old Gore rounds on the weakest ember. I now have to ask between Calyxe and Theia, who has the lowest vitality.
Mine is 0.
Thank fuck, mine's 1.
It is Theia. Theia, please take the condition the hunter hunted.
All right.
You cannot shake this condition until after the struggle. And now let's paint the scene. Everyone, Old Gore's ancient body is scarred and mutilated. What at first looked like quills or bones protruding through its shaggy, matted fur are actually an armory's worth of weapons, each left lodged in this great beast's body by some doomed hunter of old, intoxicated by hubris. Please describe one such weapon and how its wielder met their brutal end trying to bring Old Gore down.
One is a flail, a long chain with a spiked metal ball on the end. It looks heavy and it looks deadly. And those spikes are sunken into the side of Old Gore, and that chain goes up and up and up to where it meets a handle gripped by the hand of somebody gored on a tusk as the leverage flipped back and ended their life instead of Old Gore's.
I think in amongst the tendrils that trail behind Old Gore, we can see a long rusted length of barbed chain that was a snare that was used to try and entrap or slow Old Gore down. And the group of trappers, the opportunistic trappers who perhaps thought that they could slowly chip away at this creature and then move in for the kill at a later date, their arms are still attached to the chain, pulled clean out of their sockets. And there's also one full upper torso, skeletal, still clinging on.
Some hunters took inspiration from Old Gore himself, the tendrils that reach from his body and cling to the trees, as if propelling him forwards, maybe holding him back, but grounding him to the forest, have been added to on his body. Great metal snares wrap tight ligaments around his throat, around each cloven ankle. Any element of him that could be wrapped has that thick wire cut into it. It's swollen and red. But Old Gore is far too clever for that. For you can see that the snare wire has wrapped around the tusks, creating this abominable cage just before his mouth, and on it are the remnants, the intestines, the sections of a man that should not see daylight skewered upon them, as Old Gore took his vengeance there.
There is one part of the matted fur that is wet, not with blood, but what appears to be water, and embedded deeper still, is what could make for a harpoon-type weapon, but its shaft is made of twined coral. And going further down, there is what almost looks like fishing line, something akin, but at the end of the fishing line are a pair of mangled arms, as Old Gore ripped from them their owner.
The third movement. Old Gore continues to rage. Sunlight floods into the clearing as trees fall. This is to you, Theia, the hunter hunted. Old Gore barely misses you, then drives you into the mud with its snout, before lifting you into the air as it snorts and stamps and tries to shake you off. As you cling on, you snatch a glance into this ancient animal's eyes. You see power, poison, and pain. What you at first thought was a bony growth between its eyes appears to be the head of a huge stone axe, half buried in its skull. How can you tell this wound is causing Old Gore unimaginable suffering? Please describe how you cling on, or attempt to cling on, and roll the dark move.
Those eyes are black, deep black wells, until Theia's distracted by that axe, and when she glances back, the eyes are red, reflecting the pain and the agony and the rage of Red Ragar. And she knows. That's the problem, eh? Not blind, but blinded by pain, Sorry about this, then. She pulls out her knife, the Wolf King's Coda, stabs it into Old Gore's flesh and uses it to hold on for dear life.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Well, that would mean that Red Ragar is not on my side.
Oh, it's worse than that. Red Ragar wishes to see you made a sacrifice in blood.
Flawless.
This is going to be with vitality.
Okay. Can I mark? Never fails to find its mark deep. Well, it says deep in the chest of the most dangerous foe. Can I?
Yes, and that will balance. That will balance out the hunter hunted. So you'll be rolling 2d6 with vitality.
Okay. That's a 9.
Fantastic. Everyone else, please describe how you use Old Gore's focus on our poor cornered ember to turn the tide and weaken the beast. So while Old Gore is busy with Theia, what do you each do to try to weaken Old Gore? We'll start with Fenwyn.
Fenwyn drops to the ground and sees the chains and tendrils gathered around as Old Gore kind of stomps and is circling round Theia. And he gathers up as much of it as he can and runs across the clearing, disappears behind a tree, and then comes back around and around and around and winds this chain and these tendrils around this tree. So when Old Gore lurches forward to plunge Theia back down in the dirt, the tree comes down. Fenwyn just kind of rolls over the top of it, and it starts to get caught in all the other trees, kind of tiring this thing out, kind of slowing it down and limiting its range of movement so someone else can strike.
As the trees are beginning to come down, as the mouse has laid this sort of domino-esque trap that keeps Old Gore anchored, she makes a sacrifice to the earth to make those roots of those trees dig deep. Make them anchor. Make them bring this pig to heel. Make it squeal like Nera did. And she will, if she has to, use the gilded blade, cut her own hands, and dive them into the earth and ensure the land responds.
As Ash has cut through the undercarriage, as Old Gore begins to slow down and his innards begin to become his outwards, he runs around to the head, sees Theia up at the top of this massive beast, and is going to clamber up, still with Name Taker, and begin to slash at this creature's throat to sever its head from its body.
Theia, Old Gore is so large and powerful that when you strike it with the knife to hold on, it shakes its body, it roars in pain, and the shake is so violent that you think you've been shaken off. In fact, by the time you register the incredible pain in your arm, because your shoulder is dislocated, you're not even holding on to the dagger anymore. You also managed to pierce your sleeve a little bit. And so you're basically dangling like a rag doll on Old Gore's body by the knife holding your sleeve on to Old Gore. It's incredibly painful. You're taking a dislocated shoulder condition, but you are on and you are not dead. Let's go to the fourth movement. Old Gore labors and lists, teetering, gravely wounded, and still incredibly dangerous. Let's paint the scene, everyone. How can we tell Old Gore knows it is about to finally meet its end?
I think that as it starts to dawn on Old Gore that he's done, he lets out this really mournful bellow, and there's this kind of sorrowful sense that it's the last call of his line that will be forever unanswered.
Those blinded milk white eyes are darting from side to side as if trying to see an escape route that has long since gone past. There is no escape for Old Gore anymore.
The chest heaves and shudders. And all at once it seems like every axe, every flail, every wire that cuts into this beast's body just sinks in a little more. Its joints begin to sag, that clubbed tail falls limp. And it's ready to give up.
That drumming of hooves staggering from side to side, and the tightening of strings, and the bellowing and the rasping breath and the grunts, they are music that sings a lament. A lament for Old Gore himself, and for a world that has no place for him anymore.
Who rolled highest in the first movement?
Me and Ash rolled the same, but Ash bumped it.
That's right. Then I'll go with you, Fenwyn. Please describe how you use the stone axe head to end Old Gore's torment. Doing so will end this creature's eternal suffering and end the struggle. Please describe how its physical form is released from existence.
Theia is pinned to the side of Old Gore's face by a sleeve, and as she's flailing, she notices something, which is Fenwyn using her as a rope ladder, clambering up. "Don't mind me," he says as he passes, all too close, up onto the tusks along the bony ridge. Between those eyes sees that axe head, and Fenwyn looks behind him. The trees are spinning as this thing starts to slow down. He needs momentum, so he takes a running start along the snout, jumps towards a tree, pushes his feet into it, then rolls back to plunge those 2 feet into the axe head and drive it deep into Old Gore's skull. And we see the form, this titanic form, slowly melt into the ground, and it becomes all tendril, and those tendrils slither away like roots, and parts of a mycelial network disappear back to the earth, leaving only 4 exhausted embers and an armory's worth of weapons.
Indeed, your rewards. You each get to add a weapon that was described during the encounter to your equipment. You get to add the weapon with 1 aspect. You can decide what you think the aspect is. And to Fenwyn, who ended Old Gore's suffering, you actually take a condition, the Merciful. You can clear that condition at any time to get an automatic 10+ on a roll. Does anyone have any thoughts on their weapons that they're going to claim from Old Gore's body? I'm also okay if you want to come up with something kind of new that you find on the body.
I'm quite tempted by the barbed wire that the Calyxe described. I think that Theia will unpin herself with her knife and mutter, "Don't mind me," as she saws some of the wires loose from around one leg of Old Gore.
In sort of similar fashion, I think, can I take what Michelle described as like the living tendrils of Old Gore? The way that they sort of, they stretched out? Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just, to be clear, Did we take a minute, Theia, to put your shoulder back into socket?
I don't know, did we? Can I?
We're assuming you did, yes.
Okay.
Change the condition to just sore shoulder, then,
Okay.
in that case.
I like the idea that Fenwyn did it as he climbed up you.
You
just grab my limp arm and just...
We should point out for viewers who may not have picked up on it yet that like Fenwyn is like kind of like whoosha light whenever climbing the surfaces, so it's not like it was it's like using Theia's body full weight to climb. Fantastic. Fenwyn, what are you gonna take?
I'm gonna take the harpoon.
Very good. Ash, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, it would only be fair then to take the thing that Fenwyn described.
Indeed. I don't remind me what it was. I don't recall.
It was the snare, but there's also the axe head.
There was also like a ball and chain too, if I remember correctly, or like
what?
Morning Star thing.
I'll take the axe head, actually. Yes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That would do nicely.
The axe head that ultimately killed Old Gore. Fantastic. You all can write those aspects on and add them to your equipment, or you can write those items and add them to your equipment. This world, the lands remaining, is a world of mysteries. This is particularly the case because it's very different from what you all can possibly remember. You don't remember much, and even if you could, things are very, very different in the time of the Dimning. There are mysteries that you need to discover the truth behind, not only to remember yourself and your ideals, but also to find the way to the throne of the hidden king. And the first of those mysteries, here in the Great Forest, presents itself to you. Perhaps you remember this. Perhaps it's just something you hear from a passerby in your journeys. The manner in which you learn it is not important. The mystery is called the Mouldering Court. You have heard whispers of a place where flowers once grew to overflowing abundance, where the Fae danced beneath lantern-lit bowers, and mortal poets wept to see such beauty. They called it the Rose Court, a garden realm ruled by Lady Kendwyn, a sovereign of grace, wit, and wonder, whose footsteps created trails of sweet blossoms. That was before the Dimning, before the roses blackened and split under the first touch of bloom rot, before the garden sank into a choking mire of stagnant water and rotting petals, before Lady Kendwyn became the thing now known as the Putrescent Queen. The stories say she sits at the swamp's heart, attended by the diseased remains of her court. They say her beauty withered to madness, her laughter curdled to a wet, rasping croon. She is too powerful to approach directly, too broken to reason with, and too rooted in sorrow to leave her throne of thorns and muck. Yet there is one tale, old, uncertain, half-forgotten, that may offer a path. When the Dimning came, Kendwyn did not fall to shadow. She fell to grief. She lost the one she loved, and in that loss her heart unraveled. If the tale is true, then to reach her, to stand close enough to survive her terrible power, you must uncover the truth of that lost love. You must learn who they were, what they look like, their story, and then wear it like a mask to the heart of the swamp. We have a question and opportunity here. The question: what is the nature and story of Lady Kendwyn's lost love? It's a complexity 8. The opportunity is to resolve the mystery by seeking the heart of the swamp and immediately engaging in a struggle against the Putrescent Queen. But before all that, you have to journey to the Mouldering Court. And so we're going to do our next journey This journey is called the Ruins of Castle Braen. As you're making your days-long journey to the Mouldering Court, you take shelter on the way in the ruins of a small castle. In the lands remaining, a partially crumbled wall is safer than no walls at all. This castle belonged to Lord Braen, a ruler from the time of the Old Fire, who was known to be fair and generous to his people. This kindness made him an attractive target for the Malgaunt, hateful creatures who sided with the Dimning at the end of all things. Now, every journey has 4 prompts, and each time you take the journey, or you take a journey that crosses through this geography, you get to mark the next one. And at the end, after all 4 are marked, you get a collective reward. So we do the first now. The walls are crumbling, the stone is scorched, and the timbers groan in the wind. And yet, this is a safe place. Each of you please tell me, what do we see that shows how even in its dilapidated state, Castle Braen is defensible?
I think from up on the walls, if you look down, you can see that this is all overgrown now, and the thicket and the bramble has taken over much of this and has twisted round what remains. But what you can see if you really look is that the moat is still there, but now it's covered by overgrown foliage. So it's a sheer drop down if you put your feet on it and you can't see it.
The doors to rooms of this castle. There's nothing so sturdy as a well-made door, and these doors are well-made. Despite the wet and the dust and the dimning, they hold firm and strong, and they do not break.
It's warm. What kind of a ruin is warm? The kind that still keeps something out. And if this place can keep out the cold, perhaps it can keep out other things too.
The moat is overgrown, and the drawbridge stands high and proud, still like the doors. The wood does not warp or give way. Something has been intertwined between the slats that make up this great stronghold. The chain is almost still oiled. The moss hasn't been able to cling to it, to weaken it. Whatever metal has been used here was used with foresight, that this castle would stand for, well, till the end of time. And where are we now, if not at the end of time?
This is a safe place. You can make camp here if you wish. Also, Calyxe, this is a journey. So you can sneak off when no one's looking and meet a side character of your choice out in the woods, or your lone supplicant. So let's go around the table, see what we're doing here. I'll remind you of the make camp move. It says, when you and any other number of members settle down to rest, you can tell a pleasant story from the time of the Old Fire or engage in your ritual. If you do so, clear an appropriate condition or unmark an aspect. And then as a group, you will discover your first clue for the Mouldering Court. I'll just give the scene over to all of you.
Theia is drawing in the dust in one of the rooms of this castle. She's not much of a visual artist, but she draws flowers and blooms. And she says, they say it's like being assaulted. The scent of all those flowers. I don't know what flowers smell like. If I ever knew, perhaps I did. But they say it's a pleasant assault. You would know about that, wouldn't you, Hollow Branch? They say the petals were soft. Soft. Do you think they're soft like this moss, or soft in a different way? They say there were thorns too, of course. That's perhaps more of interest to you, hmm?
What is a rose if not without its thorn? What is a thorn if not without its rose? One cannot exist without the other. That is the balance, sacred. But that softness you seek, that you remember. Nature has a way of stripping away the softness of things. The velvet of a deer's antler becomes nothing more than a bloody pulp when shed.
Oh, but Hollow Branch, the deer still has fur, and fur is soft. That hardness must coexist to preserve the softness. Hmm?
Precisely. Balance. For what is it of us to exist here, now, in this time when... Think of it. We were beneath this earth not a day ago. We exist in balance. I can hear it now. I'm speaking to it now. It knows my words. It knows your words. It respects you, Wolf. For you speak truths. You speak great truths. Unlike our mouse. Unlike our mouse.
Mouse or monkey? It seems he yearns to reach the sky, but that is more my domain, such as the rocks are yours. I do not know if the moons respect you, Hollow Branch. They have seen you do strange things, I hear.
Ah, what is strange to the moon? What is normal to the sun? No. For back in the days before this, before the dimning, I was friends with the fire. I was friends with the warmth of the sun.
Where are you now?
I remember standing at the foot of the obelisk where the Grand Dryad held her rites and rituals. I remember basking in her glory and her presence, and I remember feeling so connected to my crucible. It gave us balance, purpose, existence among the screams and echoes and cries and pain and suffering of the world. It gave that understanding to us to safeguard and to safekeep, don't you understand? That strangeness the moon saw was our understanding.
Strange to seek understanding from the sun, Hollow Branch. Don't you know that wood burns?
And it burns well. For when it burns, what happens? Why, life rebirths anew.
Is that what you see here, Hollow Branch? Life anew?
We are not new. We are remnants.
Indeed.
Embers of a fire long gone out. But perhaps we might spark something, create a new balance. All it needs is a little sacrifice. Don't you think, Wolf?
What is this we? Burning branch. I have no interest in your relationship with the sun. I do not see her here. You're all alone now.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
Let's check in with the other embers. Oh, just a quick point of clarification. It has been some days since Elegy, but I think Calyxe's point still stands. What are you doing in the meantime, Ash and Fenwyn?
We can find Fenwyn perched on a parapet somewhere far away from this conversation that's happening somewhere else. And he's got like a little device. Maybe it's almost like a sextant type thing with a little viewfinder he's looking through, and he's sort of scanning the tree line ahead, looking beyond our immediate environs.
Ash, I think you spot with your little sextant as he's walking the grounds towards what looks to be the remnant of a small fire that someone had made beforehand. And walking beside him is one of the spectral knights. And as he walks, he holds a hand out for the other knight to hover over. I name you Malin the Just and release you from your service. But unlike the other knights, this one does not fade. Lays his hand atop Ash's. You know, he's waiting ever so patiently. And Ash looks, because this is the first time one of them has spoken to him so calmly. It's always an urgency in battle. And the spirit taps the front of his gorget in a spot just where the ribbon lies. I see, Ash says. Well, as you will, Al. And the spirit fades. And Ash goes to that remnant of a campfire and scoops the ash into his hands. And does a thing that you've seen him do before, and rubs it between his hands and then proceeds to lick his hands of this ash. And then, as if sensing your presence, turns his head and you see his eye catch yours through the sextant.
Fenwyn doesn't try to hide that he was watching, and he stows away that piece of equipment, and in a few short beats he has glided down the sheer wall and drop and landed on that thin layer of bramble stretched over the moat that will give way to a fall of certain death, and he just bounces confidently along it and crouches next to you at the fire and says, "More partings, soldier?"
I'm not sure. I think Malin will come back. Not sure why.
Fenwyn looks back towards where the others are and says, "Are those two still dancing their endless waltz of insults and thinly veiled romantic jabs, counterpunches?"
Well, I don't know about all of that. They are bickering. In a way, they sort of remind me of my sisters. The back and forth tete-a-tetes, I think that's why I perhaps don't see the romantic side of it.
Well, let's just say the tension is killing me.
You said you didn't die the first time, so maybe this will be the thing that lets you be one of us fully.
Fingers crossed.
I love the idea of Malin the Just possibly joining our party here. I want to check in briefly with the move with everyone. Does anyone want to make a case for clearing a condition or unmarking an aspect?
Yes, please. Our chats of the sun, of warmth, of feeling belonging. I would like to clear chill to the bone.
Oh, very good. Yeah, it's probably about time.
I wanted to tell a story I'd heard, but I could not remember. But the conversation led to discussions of the sun, and that sparked something, a feeling that Theia couldn't quite place. And I would love for her to twiddle the Wolf King's coda, her knife, between her fingers, and try to listen out for the hidden verse that tells of the little-known truth about the Wolf King.
So that's unmarking an aspect then?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Also, I think I've been thinking a lot about that moment on Old Gore when you saw Red Regar. And I think we're going to move you one step closer to Red Regar.
Okay. Makes sense.
Fenwyn, Ash, have you managed to trigger yet, or you still need more scenes?
I think that just being up a tower and generally around a kind of a fortification is reinforcing the tale of the mouse in the tower, and I think I'll unmark some aspects of the story. Especially the first stair sat the cat, still as fast covered stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And I think that definitely evokes the Watcher's stillness, which is your ritual. Ash, did you?
When Ash was speaking to Malin and he tapped the vow plate, I wanted to clear no vow sworn while wearing it can be broken.
Oh, good.
Just
yeah, I like that.
reminding me.
Yeah. To be clear, I see now. You have actually listed Malin the Just as one of your brothers that may stand. Yeah, good. Fantastic. Calyxe, are you slipping off from the group?
Do we have a side character or supplicant here at the moment? Or am I off to find one?
You can name any side character that you have encountered. You can say they come to you. We don't dwell on how they got there. So it could be the supplicant, which would be a big move because it takes it away from the whole group.
Who is the supplicant?
Vera.
Vera's the supplicant.
Yes.
I thought it would, because last time I thought it was Mortis. That would be a big move.
But Sir Kalin is not a supplicant, but is a side character who you could, I kind of like the idea of Sir Kalin finally took the boat to the lands remaining and ends up on a tree. But that's up to you.
I will end up on a tree, and Ash and Theia will have put me there if I put Kalin on a tree.
They don't have to know. This is a secret.
An open secret. I feel terrible.
But any side character you've encountered is eligible.
Sister
How much do you like Sister?
Yeah.
Sister Isha. Yeah.
Hey, Sister Isha.
Sister Nor, Sister Isha, or Sister
Shayna.
Mm-hmm. Sister Isha.
Fantastic. Let's be reminded of your move. You've named your side character. Please roll with Cinder.
Okay. Can I mark an aspect to boost it?
Of course. Well, you get to get advantage, yeah.
Okay. I will mark the heartwood nails. Silver birch for punishment. For she has been cast out of her own order of endless grief for daring to question and that, in Calyxe's mind, is punishment. Oh, that was 2 plus 3. So -1 is a 10.
Very good. Sister Isha arrives as a willing martyr. Please describe how they abase themselves before you and then make them an oracle.
Sister Isha wants there to be an end to the endless grief. And Calyxe wants to give that to her. For truly, for the Verdant Crucible, the only endless thing there should be is suffering for the land. She will replace Sister Isha's grief, or lack thereof, with suffering, and will keep her alive upon this tree and part of it for as long as the tree will sustain her. Sister Isha willingly accepts Calyxe's proposal, for she was purposeless, and, as the Verdant Crucible has always done, they offer purpose in balance. The balance here is as Sister Isha is lowered down onto her knees, Calyxe moves behind her back. She breaks every one of Sister Isha's ribs from behind. She pulls out the lungs Sister Isha uses to grieve, to weep, to cry, to howl and to scream, endlessly like those ghouls did on Elegy. She places those lungs up and into the tree and lets them sit, lets the tendrils and the life of the tree grow into those lungs and support her. Should Sister Isha try to pull away from the tree, she will die. She must stay on the tree, willingly, forever, sustained by the life that it gives, knowing that suffering is what feeds this land, and she must suffer.
Anything else you all want to do at camp? Then let's go ahead and create a clue together. Your first bit of evidence of what might have come to Lady Kendwin's lover, or what their story is. Any thoughts? Perhaps he or she passed through the ruins of Castle Braen.
I wonder if there's like somewhere in the grounds of Castle Braen where we might wander off away from what is safe and defensible. There's like a tournament grounds, and I wonder whether there's some sort of remnant from some kind of tournament of which whoever the love was had to win favor, perhaps.
I like that. It's a good start. Yeah.
I don't know what that would be, if anyone's got any other ideas, but
like a shield with a rose on it or something.
Or a lance or something that's like got the heraldry still on it, maybe.
Yeah, or decorated with like a rose vine. What do roses grow on?
Stems.
Yeah, like a rose stem, like with thorns or something. Wrapped with thorns.
I think thorns would be apt.
Yeah.
What if the lance was a giant thorn?
Ooh.
Oh, I like that. I like that greatly.
Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, so we'll say that at the clue, whoever wants to enter it, at the ruins of Castle Braen, a lance, a thorn lance. We'll just say a thorn lance.
That implies some kind of knife.
Yeah,
Or
it does.
some kind of war.
Begin thinking of those theories. You travel for another day or two, and you arrive at the swamp, previously called the Rose Court, now known as the Mouldering Court. I think as you make your way. There's black water that laps at the base of fallen arches. Countless blackened roses sag under their own spoiled weight. There's a perfume of sweetness and rot hanging heavy in the air. Please paint the scene. Once this court embodied fey splendor, what detail shows how its beauty endures, not intact, but twisted into something mournful, haunting, or defiantly alive?
Calyxe knows. The skin of the Fae is almost opalescent. It has a sheen. Here, the puddles, the water, has that oil-slick sheen about it, like a rainbow spread among the black. It is as if it has transferred in some way. Maybe it is not of Fae skin, maybe it is their aura, maybe it is the water that makes them. But it coats the land here. A rainbow fallen from the sky.
I think that there are periodically these, they're kind of pearl-like, but they are easily 3 or 4 times the size of someone's head. They are these orbs that at one point lit the way for people through this place, and they are kind of held up by these knotted stems and roots that curl around them and hold them in place. But they've long since lost their luminescence, and they now are milky white and pallid, like a dead fish's eyes.
In that black, swampy water, there are petals floating that have fallen and drifted from these dead roses, and they rot there in the water. But should you step so that even a toe of your boot touches that water, the petals begin to move and sway and swim in that water, as though drawn to that life, as though desperate to cling once again to something that breathes with life.
And above them all are overhanging branches of willows whose leaves drape down, but never quite touch the water, weeping eternally without recompense or release.
You see all of this as you're kind of slowly making your way through the swamp. It's not quick travel, right? Moving through mucky water. To the north, you will hear someone, a woman, loudly complaining. It's unclear if she's speaking to anyone or perhaps just to herself, but it's something along the lines of, "Oh, there you are. I thought you died out completely. But there's just enough of you remaining. But of course, naturally, you are pinned under this rock. Oh, this is the life I've been given." That's going on. To the east, you will hear a sort of like ha 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 ha. To the south, it's too distant to make out, but you hear several voices in conversation. Let's just go around the table. I'm curious what everyone's gonna do here.
Theia definitely wants to meet the complaining woman. She seems like fun. She's going to head off in that direction.
Ash?
I was going to the complaining woman, but I am very intrigued by ha 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 ha.
Indeed. Very good. Fenwyn?
Not wanting to be left between Calyxe and Theia, I will follow Ash towards the sounds of the parrying and riposting and otherwise martial activities.
Mm-hmm. Calyxe?
I will go towards the multitude of voices.
Indeed. Let's start with the complaining woman. By the time you get there, Theia, I think you're sort of like... well, you see her. She has stringy gray hair with bits of flower and fungus woven in, a very deeply curved posture. She seems to be looking for something. There's something under a rock that she's trying to get at. She's maybe even like down on her hands and knees. And she looks over her shoulder and she says, "Huh. You look young and fit enough. Come help me with this."
Oh, indeed. I have a friend who feels very strongly about rocks, but she seems to have wandered off, so I can help you, Crescent Lady. What is it you're seeking?
This root underneath this rock. She looks at you and she kind of like, she gets up and she does this thing where she like gets really close to you and she leans in, like she's like staring at your breastbone, just like mere centimeters away. And she goes, "Huh, an ember." Oh, you're a fool, you know that?
I'm a fool. You know, most people are a little more subtle when they look at that area.
You're a fool for seeking the throne of the hidden king. We don't need no fires, neither old nor new. We like things quite as they are, free of people who don't know any better than to call you an old bog witch, the simpletons. This is better. Better to be alone, we say.
Indeed. Better to be scrabbling under rocks you can't lift.
Well, we didn't say it was perfect, just better.
So, let me see about these roots then, and you can tell me more about how you got it all figured out.
Yes. You can help her. It's not that heavy a rock. And she gets it. She has a little knife and she like takes some careful cuttings of this root. And you can see now that she has like pouches and sacks and things. She appears to be an herbalist or somebody who works with such things. She introduces herself as Granny Lou. And she's so delighted by her roots that she gives you a big, wide smile. And that's when you see that half her teeth are missing, the left half.
Granny Lou.
Aye.
Who bends over roots and living things. Why do they call you Bog Witch?
Sometimes people, well, you may not know this, but sometimes, child, people are very, very stupid. And they think that someone who has the wherewithal to learn how to make herbal remedies and poultices and other needful things, well, if that person is a woman, well, she must be a witch.
Now this I do understand. Yes, I've met some very stupid people. One of them's probably scrambling around up here somewhere already. Tell me, if you have the ability to heal, the ability to help, I've got a very sore shoulder after an encounter with a large pig. Don't suppose you have any sort of poultices that can help with that?
I saw you favoring it, yes. Here, kneel down. I've got something.
She hesitates for just a moment, looking at the state of the ground, and then, well, back in the mud I go.
We'll come back to this. Ash and Fenwyn, you come upon there's a little kind of like a little dry patch, actually. The sun shining down. There's a man here, broad-shouldered and imposing, with a mane of bright red hair, and ornate armor fashioned into the likeness of a lion's face. He has a beautiful sword, and he's kind of doing practice swings and thrusts. And what do you do?
Fenwyn nudges Ash forwards with his harpoon, and the metallic clank draws this person's attention immediately to them, and Fenwyn's gone.
He turns and he says, "Ah, hello, fellow Ember. Seek ye the throne of the Hidden King?"
Ash looks for Fenwyn, realizes that he's been abandoned, and then turns back to this person. Well, I suppose so?
I am Sir Denebray the Lion. Who might you be?
I'm of the Nameless.
Nameless, the Nameless. Well, how do people call you then?
At times, I am called Ash.
What a pity. To be called something so simple as Ash, when you look to be rather impressive.
I don't look to be anything, and I don't find Ash simple.
Well enough. Hey, perhaps you'd like to spar with me? A bit of swordplay, a bit of practice. We could both use it. In our inevitable quest to find the throne of the Hidden King, of course.
Ash is going to visibly look him up and down.
He's a very big guy.
I think Ash makes an assessment, decides that he can still beat him, and then, well, I suppose if you're wanting to, but I am rather good.
That's the spirit, that's the spirit. I must say, though, my Lion Guard armor very much mislikes this wet place. That's all I can do to keep the rust away.
Do I know much of the Lion Guard?
I don't know, but you can go ahead and make the information move with reason to see.
Reason. 8.
We'll come back to this in a moment. What are you doing, Fenwyn?
Fenwyn is currently sat swinging his legs on the shoulder of a practice dummy that's stuffing is starting to burst out of it. And he's waiting to insert himself into this sparring match, shall we say.
Interesting. I think while you're doing that, you see someone kind of like peeking around a tree, like an old mangrove or something. And this person, you can't see much of them, but you can see that they're not wearing any clothes. And they're looking at you, and then they kind of like wave, and then they go back behind the tree. What do you do?
Fenwyn doesn't react, but he quickly scans the tree line for the quickest, most likely place to cut this person off if they were to run.
Very good. Are you going to try to go after them, or are you just keeping an eye on them?
I think the next time that they appear and then disappear, when they go back behind the tree, I'll be stood right behind them.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. We'll pick up from there. I like how you've described that. I'm not going to make you roll or anything. This person goes back behind the tree, like you can actually from this vantage point, they like kind of laugh. They're kind of enjoying this little game that they're playing. What do you do?
Fenwyn says, "This place is a little dank for the birthday suit, don't you think?"
Oh, you can see now. It's a young man, quite pale. His naked body covered in delicate, sort of purplish bloom wrought fractals. Small hands, trim feet. He's sort of carefully navigating the bog as he approaches you, as if he doesn't want to step into the muck. And he says, "Well, I suppose I have nothing to hide."
What a privilege that must be.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. No, truth be told, my clothing dissolved away several hundred years ago, and I haven't bothered to find anything new. Why should I?
You wear whatever you wear well, my friend.
Do you think I wear it well?
Of course.
He is quite beautiful in his way. In fact, would be incredibly beautiful if not for the dribbling putrefaction coming out of his mouth and ears. He says, "You are... I've never seen you around here. What are you doing here?"
Me and my companions, who I'm sure you'll find fascinating, are looking to attend the court of this place's regent.
Oh. Lady Kendwin, you mean? Though no one calls her that anymore, do we?
We've come to pay tribute.
Well, I fear there's no paying tribute to her. She has locked herself away, and if I'm being perfectly honest, we're all better off for it.
How
She's
so?
quite dreadful now.
Ah.
Yes.
I think I'm going to try to appeal to this person's sentiment and sort of start talking about the queen as she was, to see if I can kind of trigger a reaction of how they really feel about her.
Yeah, that's good. Make the information move with presence.
It's a 5.
Calyxe. You have to travel a little further away from the group. But as you get closer to where these people are, you have to actually pass through what in the time of the old fire was called Kendwin's Gate. Large marble doors, veined with creeping rot. Thorns clutching the stone like desperate fingers. There's a faint vibration, kind of humming in the air, as if the gate remembers music. Let's paint the scene, everyone. Kendwin's Gate once welcomed lovers and exiles alike. What trace reveals the tenderness or heartbreak of those who once passed through it?
There are scraps of parchment paper everywhere. probably once held to bosoms or kept in secret places, but since the dimning scattered about by the careless wind. And if you are to grasp at one, you will find poetry. Dreadful poetry, but ever so heartfelt.
I think in the fashion of how people might leave a padlock on a bridge, I think that in and around this gate there are seedlings stuffed into every kind of available crevice and nook, but none of them have sprouted. They have all withered and died.
On the marble, among the beautiful filigree that has been carved there and slowly softened over time, the marble is incredibly hard-wearing. Carved between the leaves, the flowers, the petals, the hearts, there is graffiti. Initials, names. M+M forever. Till time eternal I am yours. But then on the other side of the gate, the graffiti is much simpler. Exiled no more. I belong, I live, I survive.
There are shadowed impressions of handprints along the edges of the gate where lovers have come and joined hand together, almost engraving themselves in this joining. But some of them are just single hands. And you can see where one has worn darker than the other, coming to revisit a spot where the other hand cannot join.
The Fae, who used to be part of the Rose Court, the ones that are left anyway, are Fae no more. They are now called Rotgaunts. And you see two Rotgaunts. One who is almost entirely consumed by what appears to be sort of purplish, orangish like kind of fungus. Almost like they've been entombed by it. And you just see their face peering out. And another wearing finery that has been sun-faded to be just like pale pastels. And their face is covered with blooming lesions. And indeed, one whole eye is overgrown with a sort of a burst of like sort of florid growth. And that one says to the entombed one, "You are finally free. You are finally free, my beloved. Go now. Go now and be one with the rot forever." This Rotgaunt turns to you, Calyxe, and says, "Ah, there you are. You have returned. No. Let me explain. I can see the look of confusion upon your face. I am the thorn-eaten Vicomte, and you have returned to me. I very much like your bramble crown. It's a fine start, though I think we can do better." He says this as he steps closer to you. He has this sort of flowery growth coming out of his eye socket. You can see now that he has his skin. It looks scaly on his hands, but it's not scales, it's actually rose petals. And then you see the person he was talking to, who's entombed in this fungus, you actually see dotted all around the immediate landscape a number of entombed people, some wrapped in vines, others sort of like entombed in large mounds of flowers. Here, allow me. And you can see, as he kind of waves his fingers back and forth, what appears to be like spores drifting off his fingertips is actually little bits, little motes of fey magic. And then you can feel your bramble crown tightening, blood dribbling down your temple, the bridge of your nose. Indeed, it's growing. The bramble is growing rapidly and wildly around your shoulders, around your arms, around your waist, tightening and wrapping. You will soon be entombed. What do?
I think initially Calyxe, who listens before she leaps, was so enthralled that someone else would appreciate nature as is, and would even go as far as to bestow upon her the pain and suffering that she so very much deserves and wants. And as it begins to grow and is out of control and is out of her control, she begins to flare. For this right now is not the time she must submit. Her pain, yes, but not entirely. And I believe she will pull the iron sickle attached to a long chain from her belt and attempt to cut through the brambles to free herself.
Keep it the light move for now. What do you pray is going to happen if you fail?
Oh, I'm afraid the brambles are going to wrap around my neck and stop me from asking any questions that I desperately have for this thing.
Go ahead and roll with... I think this is probably vitality.
Okay. I will mark the iron sickle attached to a long chain to give me advantage.
Okay.
Boxcars.
Oh, very nice. You'll have control of the scene. You can deal with the thorn-eaten Vicomte however you want. And you'll get a clue as well for your bonus. Or I assume you get the bonus. You didn't get knocked down below 12.
No.
Okay. Be thinking about your scene, what this looks like. Let's check in with Granny Lou and Theia. This will take a minute, right? As she's sort of like rubbing this like ointment on your shoulder, Theia. And you can tell that she's really good at this. How do you know? She's very skilled. She's a skilled healer.
She has those strong, heavy hands, which at first might seem careless when they land upon you. But the strength and the confidence with which she manipulates the muscle, the tendons, the tissue, even as though she's barely paying attention, probably still grumbling to herself. That is a practiced hand.
Go ahead and clear the condition. What do you do in the meantime?
I will ask, so Crescent Lady, while you work your magic, meant with a positive connotation, of course, I must ask, what do you know of this place beyond its abundance of strange roots?
Make the information move with presence.
Well, that's very good, because presence is 2, so that's a 12.
Oh, very, very good indeed. We now get to sort of invoke the 12 plus feature of the information move, which is that you also find a Lord clue. Now, we haven't talked about Lord clues or Lord questions yet, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, she says, oh, what do you want to know?
Well, heard the odd story that great loves once bloomed here, as did the roses, yet it seems a little lacking in that department now.
Oh, yes. Oh, Lady Kendwin, the Rose Maiden, so bereft because her lover left her that she sealed herself away behind a wall of sad swamp water. I don't know. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Can you imagine withdrawing from the world just because your lover went away? I'd be happy, personally.
You didn't get on with them?
People in general? Yes. I did not get on with them.
How strange. I think you're utterly charming.
Well, you did just drag yourself out of a grave fairly recently, so I suppose you may have a slightly skewed opinion on who counts as good company.
Well, I suppose you might be onto something there. The company I've been keeping is a little unconventional. Not that I have a great sense of what's conventional anymore, of course.
Oh, came here with more embers, huh? You're not here with that Sir Denebray the Lion, are you?
The lion? No, but I should like to meet a lion.
Oh, yes, well, let's say Sir Denebray's roar is a little bit more... what's the word? Let's just say it's not exactly fearsome.
Oh, is that so? Well, then, I'm sure he'll get along well with my friends. They are dreadfully fearsome when they're not hiding.
Indeed, let's see how that's going. Sir Denebray talks a lot, Ash. His roar is lengthy, we'll say, as he goes on and on about, he talks a lot about how, the Lion Guard, they wish to, he wishes to reach the throne of the Hidden King so that he can teach the world the virtues of the Lion Guard, and he kind of goes on at some length about the virtues of the Lion Guard. What did you get on your information move roll?
An 8.
An 8. Okay, very good. I think the complication here is this conversation is happening while you are sparring with him, right? And so there's a lot of clash, back and forth. And despite the fact that he's quite pompous, and despite the fact that he is, I don't know, he stands out in this dreary swamp as this kind of shining golden, very full of himself figure. He's really, really good. He's really, really good with his weapon. The old fire brought him back for a reason.
Could I say Ash isn't fighting with Nametaker?
Oh, okay, very good.
Ash found a decent sized stick and is fighting with that instead.
He's very, very good, and he has disarmed you several times now. And he says, "Oh, verily, I must wonder why the old fire chose to bring you back, Sir Ash. I assume that your talents lie somewhere other than feats of arms?"
Ash.
He says this as he helps you up.
Yeah. Ash bites his tongue. I do not claim to know why the old fire, as you call it, chose me for anything. I woke, likely much the same as you did, with a sense of purpose, and that purpose shall guide me to where it does. Your presence here does little to interfere with that.
Yes. Well, perhaps we can be of use to each other, Ash.
Perhaps. And he discards his useless stick.
Yeah. He says, I did not come to this place to practice my swordplay. I came to this hellish swamp because I believe there are secrets to be found here. Secrets that might help me, us, reach the throne. And so I doth endure this boggy misery. But I haven't found much so far. The people here, they are unpleasant. And, well, there is one rather charming young fellow who seems like he would do just about anything to be rid of this place. That's neither here nor there. I'm sorry. What were we talking about again?
Perhaps helping each other.
Ah, yes. Well, have you learned anything yet? What secrets have you been able to reconnoiter?
Reconnoiter. As far as I have seen, you are the first person that we've truly come across here. Well, I don't know. I have companions as well. And perhaps they have been more fruitful than this.
He says, well, I haven't had much luck, and I've been here for some time. I did find this, though.
Have you no companions?
No. The Lion Guard, we, well, let's just say we aren't one for forming prides too easily.
Unfortunate for you.
What do you make of this? I found this lodged in a tree over there, and he pulls out this sort of like ring with this like gemstone on it. He says, it was wedged in the tree bark. Like someone put it there to send a signal, perhaps, or I don't know. But this is your clue. The clue is a ring found wedged in tree bark. And I don't know what you can know about it at this point, but I owe you a complication here. He says, it is true. I have been far too proud and stubborn to take on a traveling companion. But I quite like you, Sir Ash. And so perhaps
That is not my name.
Perhaps we could travel together then, Ash.
You wish to travel with us? You've not yet met my companions. You might change your mind very quickly.
Oh, you have others with you then?
Oh, aye.
Are they embers like us?
Oh, aye.
Oh, that is bad news indeed, Ash. For only one can claim the throne of the Hidden King.
Well, perhaps then the ever-burning, the old fire gave me this mission for a reason. It's not to do with me.
Ah, I see it now. Your companions were meant to bring you here to me, so that you might help me reach the throne of the Hidden King. Yes. It is all perfectly transparent now.
I'm not quite certain that's what it is, but
This makes perfect sense, considering you are somewhat shabby with the sword, Ash. And so, perhaps you shall serve in the function of, well, of course I need someone to help make and strike camp, and someone to scout ahead at times, to look for danger that I will dispatch, of course, naturally. Yes, I think this is a fine arrangement indeed.
Well, I can't wait for you to meet Calyxe. I'm sure they'll get along like a house on fire.
No. We don't need to bother ourselves with them. We should go quickly.
Oh, you want to go with just me?
Yes. I thought I explained this all very clearly moments ago, Ash.
I'm not... You speak many words all at once. I can only listen to some of them all of the time.
The old fire intended that those other embers bring you here.
Right.
Put you in my path so that you and I could travel to the old capital together.
Oh, I don't think that's quite the mission.
Perhaps even there shall be a moment when we stand before the throne of the hidden king, you and I, shoulder to shoulder. Well, your shoulder to my sort of upper arm, I suppose. And we'll have to make a decision about who between us shall climb those steps and sit down upon the throne. And of course, we have to follow how the old stories go, don't we? One who is clearly the most heroic and able shall sit the throne. His leal companion right by his side. That's you.
I don't think that's quite me. Again, Sir Denebray,
This is very splendid. I'm going to go gather my things. You should go say farewell to your companions. I'll meet you back here, say in an hour or two.
You do that. I'll be seeing you, I'm certain.
You're taking the condition marked by Sir Denebray the Lion.
God damn it.
Jason, how many people can I nail to trees in one journey?
Just one per journey.
God damn it.
Please, I've never begged for anything more. Please, nail him to a tree.
Oh, don't touch Sir Caleb, but have this guy. Yeah, sure.
Let's check in with Fenwyn. Fenwyn, this young person with the fractal rot bloom going across his otherwise lithe, lovely body, introduces himself as Periwinkle. Do you give him your name in return?
No, I think that Fenwyn just moves the conversation along.
He says, "Sir, can I show you something?"
Always.
"Follow me." And he carefully makes his way through the bog. You'll notice he takes very particular gentle steps, like he doesn't want to step into muddy water. He tries to navigate across roots that are nice and dry. And as he's sort of taking you wherever he's taking you, he's kind of going on. Perhaps I should have let the Dimning claim me. I'm not made for this life. I deserve pretty things. Fine silks and lace, soft beds filled with goose feathers instead of moss, arbor wine. Perhaps wherever you're going, they have those things, sir. Perhaps you could take me with you. He calls back over his shoulder as he leads you along.
I'm no knight and have no need of a squire.
Oh, I would be a dreadful squire, so that's just as well. My talents lie in other areas, if you know what I mean, sir.
I'm afraid that I might.
Afraid that you might? Here we are. He's taken you deep into the bog, to another part of the court, to the drowned arboretum, where there are shattered glass walkways lying half-submerged in murky pools. Rare trees slump beneath the water's surface, and there's a riot of color down below. Let's paint the scene. This was a place where strange and wondrous life was nurtured. What surviving detail shows how the Fae coaxed beauty from nature?
There's a tree that still bears some fruit. It's kind of a plump, pear-like fruit. And this is a real thing from our world, but like they've kind of tied string round it or vine twine round it to make it grow into the shape of an animal, like a little pig. And I think that some of those, even though they're still rotted, the fruit keeps growing back in those shapes.
Similarly, taken from our world, I think along the walls and growing up over the domes of the stained glass, there is a fungus, a mushroom, that grows in these big, beautiful white sheaths. And it glows in the dark, and it provides the most gentle light along, so that even through the dimness and the dark, there is this comfort, this neon fluorescent light.
That glow, that phosphorescence from the life that still remains here illuminates what would otherwise be impossible to see. Tiny, crisscrossing, fractal-shaped trails or shadows or footsteps left behind by those who once danced here to bring forth beauty.
And hidden in between what are long, slender branches and stems are small, almost grey flowers that, as the moisture that clings to the sides of this drips down upon them, they almost seem to disappear, turning transparent. Again, something else from our world. Becoming almost invisible as the light passes through and the water hits.
Isn't this place beautiful?
A keen eye can find beauty in even the most blighted of places, and yes, this is. I feel very out of place.
Does your keen eye find beauty in me?
Beauty is said to be in the eye of the beholder. And I'm afraid, my friend, that's a flat no.
Oh. Oh. I suppose this is just the way it has to be then. Poor Periwinkle. Not fit to be a rot gaunt. And with fading memories of what the world used to be. Don't you see, I only want someone to touch me so that I can recall what life was like before all of this, before everything fell apart, before Lady Kendwin sealed herself away, before the darkness came. And he reaches out and he puts his hand on your hand. Please, sir. Just one kiss, one caress, one thing to help me recall, to help me remember.
Fenwyn pulls him closer. He can taste the kind of fustiness in the air between them. And he kisses him.
He pulls back and says, "Thank you." If you change your mind, just speak my name to the trees. They'll send along the message. And he turns and scampers off. Regrettably, you are infected with bloom rot. So go ahead and note that. He didn't intend it, for what it's worth.
I've heard that before.
Indeed. Bloom rot actually that's the generic name for a number of rot-based infections that one can acquire here. Indeed, this particular bloom rot infection takes, let's see what form it takes, shall we? I think as you maybe make your way back to wherever you're going to do, or maybe you search here while you're here, I don't know, but as you kind of are getting back to things, you can actually feel little thorn growths erupting from your skin around your lips where you were kissed. That's the actual, well, just put bloom rot thorn eruptions or something like that as your condition. Let's check in with Calyxe. What did you get on your die roll? Oh, you got the full thing, right?
Yeah.
Please describe how you deal with the Vicomte.
She cuts herself free from the brambles and then places a gentle hand on the Viscount's and one on his face, and is not afraid of the fractals. Holds them, caresses them as she would any other follower. I can see your struggle and suffering has been eternal, my friend. And you have manifested it in ways that certainly feed the earth. How long have you been here?
I have been here for all time. For when we were the fair folk, we were very, very long-lived indeed. And now that we are in this new form, I can see both backwards and forwards.
What do you see forwards?
I see a world that will rot away while I keep living. There is something truly beautiful in that.
Do the cities crumble? Does the stone give way to the earth?
Yes. And the earth, the loam, gives way to the rot. That is the beauty of it.
Do you know, by chance, in this future and forward that you see, who sits on the ascended throne when this all comes to pass?
Oh, my dear woman. There are no more thrones in the future. The foundations that hold up such edifices crumble away entirely, consumed by the earth, and the earth itself consumed by the rot. Who shall consume the rot? That I cannot see.
Is that why Senduin fell to the rot? Is it all cyclical? Was it all bound to happen, or was there maybe a way to stop it?
Our Lady was overcome with heart sickness. Of course, it was a heart sickness of her own making. And he points over to there's like a kind of half crumbled marble like column or plinth, and on it, engraved on it, there's a fragment of a love poem, but half the lines are missing. Someone has violently gouged them out. And that's your clue that you get as your 12 plus bonus. What else do you do with this guy? Anything?
I want to ask him, who is your court here? Who is it that you have entombed in the fungus and the rot of this place?
These are my works. This is my exhibit. I had hoped to add you to it.
Unfortunately for you, I am but another artist. I have my own works.
Oh?
They speak truths to me. Truths delved from deep within the earth. They are the most beautiful things I have ever seen. And I wish to create an empire of them if possible, as I'm sure you do as well. I feel a kindredness to you, Viscount. I feel like you perhaps could understand the need to create that which is life, but within a different form. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I think I do.
Then I think we shall be friends. Let us make an oath not to make a work of one another. How does that sound?
All right.
Good.
And he kind of smiles. And when he smiles, a black putrefaction dribbles out of his mouth onto the ground. I can't wait to see your work. And then he wanders off. Theia, Granny Lou, in your conversations with her, she'll tell you all sorts of things. She will tell you that she often hears the vines whispering, not to her. It's unclear who they're whispering to, but they always whisper the same words, "Come back to me." Though she gets the distinct impression that the gender, that the words, the voice is different. Sometimes it seems like a man whispering it, sometimes it seems like a woman. She doesn't know what to do with that, but she finds it interesting. She likes finding those vines. They're terrific ingredients. After they're done whispering, she hacks them down and cuts them to pieces. You also find a Lord clue, which to you right now doesn't have any meaning. It really only has meaning to us as players. But what it is, she notices you have a guitar, and she'll ask you to play for her. And in the playing, after you play for a time, she tells you that she knows the song too. She teaches you this song, and as she sings it, she has a surprisingly lovely voice. It causes plants and foliage to part, vines, and they will part. It can be sung to a thick hedge, and it will bow out of the way. And this is your first Lord clue.
Crescent lady, I am ever so glad I stopped to speak with you.
Before we go to the end of session, I want to tell you that elsewhere in the Great Forest, far from your path, a procession moves beneath the canopy. A dozen knights advance in silence, their armor a pale, milky green, scale mail that catches the light like wet leaves. They carry a litter between them, borne on ashwood poles wrapped in ivy. Upon it lies a small beast's body. It is unmistakably draconic and unmistakably wrong. Its wings are half-formed, the membranes thin and torn like unfinished parchment. One horn never fully grew. Its scales are soft in places, translucent in others, as if they never learned how to harden. A faint green sheen still clings to it, like light dying behind fogged glass. This is no slain wormling. This is a stillbirth. The knights reach a shallow cave in a rocky rise, its mouth carved with ancient sigils of the Fae, and newer marks scratched crudely over those. Spirals, talons, crude draconic eyes. They set the litter down and they kneel. And with ritual care, they draw curved knives and begin to work. The act is reverent, almost tender. Scales are peeled away intact, cleaned and wrapped in linen. None are wasted. None are taken without a murmured prayer. When the skinning is done, the knights place the scales into lacquered chests marked with the sigil of the Emerald Nightmare. They carry the body into the cave and they lay it in a stone cradle, hollowed generations ago. One knight pours a vial of green ichor over the corpse. Another lights a censer, crushed leaves and resin. They seal the cave with a slab of stone, etched with a single phrase in draconic script. Return to the root. As the last night rises, a tremor passes through the forest. Leaves shiver, birds scatter. Somewhere beyond knowing and sight, something vast and ancient shifts in its sleep. Noxiliax has felt the loss. To reach the throne of the hidden king, the embers will need the key to the old capital, held by Noxiliax, the Emerald Nightmare, Lord of the Great Forest. The embers don't yet know it, but we do. Noxiliax has used powerful magic to hide the great Fae city of Lyrillin, now its lair, and the embers will have to locate Lyrillin in order to confront the great dragon. And as players, we have our own question to answer, the Lord question, which is, how can the spell that hides Lyrillin be lifted? It's a complexity 8. The embers will immediately confront Noxiliax once we've answered it. And we have one clue towards said question. And with that, we can now go to end of session. Let's do our end of session questions here. Got a lot done today, I feel like. I'm going to go in reverse order. Fenwyn. Did you roll a cinder today?
I did not.
Did you slip past an enemy when fighting them was an option?
I pushed Ash in the way.
Indeed you did. Did you demonstrate your amazing physical talents to someone else's wonder and astonishment?
Oh, I hope it was impressive, but yes.
Fantastic. Let's go to Calyxe. You did roll a cinder, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Did you spill blood in a way that caused the land to respond?
I cut myself to make them trees anchor themselves when we were fighting Old Gore.
Indeed. Did you give a wild-eyed monologue about how the land is speaking to you even now?
Multiple times.
Indeed you did. Theia, did you roll a cinder?
I did not, I don't think.
Did you perform publicly or intimately in a way that shifted the balance of power?
I'm not sure.
I think you probably would have if we had role-played the scene with the music scene with Granny Lou. And
I was thinking I did sing, but that was because you narrated that.
I'll still give you credit. I'll still give you credit for it because it literally shifts the balance of power because you found a lore clue.
Yeah.
Did you spill blood instead of using voice, wit, or song?
Yes.
Yes, you
she
did.
stabbed Old Gore.
Mm-hmm. And let's go finally to Ash. Ash, you did roll a cinder. Did you act in accordance with your vows even when it cost you something precious?
I didn't go into it, but it's why he didn't fight Sir Denebray with his sword.
Oh, I was wondering what that was about. What? Tell me more.
Yeah. So the vow that he was acting on was, and I've written these down, but it's raise not thy blade against another except to take their name.
Oh, I like it. You can take credit for it.
Yeah.
Did your pride reveal itself beneath the mask of humility?
I don't know if he actually succeeded in boasting a bit. It's kind of middling.
Okay, well, if we're not sure, I think maybe it's a no. Fantastic. And if you stoke the fire this session, please just review for next time so that you can do that at the top of the session. Also, at the top of the session, Matt, for next time, I would love for you to do the narration that your new move requires, where you talk about your training. So that would be great to do as well. And with that, I think we'll just go to Stars and Wishes.
All right, immediate star to Jason for giving Matt super herpes. That's just beautiful. Periwinkle, my beloved. What a sweet, terrible boy. I really loved all of the characters that were in this. And I really loved the way that everybody interacted with them. I thought that was fantastic. To Matt and to Wren, I could watch Fenwyn and Ash. Again, it's similar to JJ and Leon. It's this buddy cop movie that I'm constantly watching, but in this Elegiac fantasy now. I love the way that Fenwyn continuously uses Ash, and I love the way that Ash finds himself in trouble and will never blame Fenwyn. It's so beautiful. Even with Old Gore stepping on Ash to get the leg up, like, it's all there. It's so nice. I really love that relationship. I'm really excited to see where that goes with relation to everything. I am nailing Denebray to a tree. Michelle, the little back and forth that we had when we were talking just in riddles and rhymes and back and forth about moons and suns and petals and thorns and all of that gave me life. Trying to decode and not decode, and it felt like a battle. Like one of us was trying to get the up on the other the whole time, and I'm fairly certain that Theia won at the end. The burning branch, it's so hollow branch, burning branch, little digs, little perfect and just perfect digs. And I also a big star for everyone when we were painting the scene of the drowned Arboreum. Everyone pulling or like alluding to something else from our world, like that being the unseen of this. I don't know, the way that we describe stuff really scratches an itch in my head. So well done to all. Another incredible session. Granny Lou, Tammy Lou, goddamn you, Jason, absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. Well done.
I want to give a star to Jason for Lord Denebray the Lion, your performance of him specifically. Like, there is no character I love to perform more than, like, upper class twit of the year. I enjoy the pomposity you brought to him very much. I was just, everything he said, I started writing down things, but I was just transcribing you. I was like, all of this is great. I think at one point he said, very splendid, and it really sent me, just great stuff. And sort of similarly off the back of that, Wren, you know there's nothing I love more than a character played by Wren meeting somebody who they find exasperating. It's just a joyous time. Absolutely loved watching Ash be so unimpressed by Lord Denebray. I was like, I could watch this forever. This is the AP now. It's just these two. I loved it so much. Star to Matt for Fenwyn just being a real motherfucker this episode. I don't know, stepping on Ash, using Theia as a rope ladder, pushing Ash into harm's way, chasing a little guy down, telling him he's not attractive, and then smooching him and getting super herpes. Just really, it was in the post. He deserved it this week. That was good stuff. Loved it. And Jess, it's kind of just echoing what you said. I really enjoyed our little interaction. I think that Calyxe and Theia are becoming kind of interesting foils to each other, but this is the first time they've actually really spoken to each other, so that was fun to see how that played out. They both love speaking around the subject, and that also could have gone on forever, and probably if they were left to their own devices would have, so that was really fun.
I've got written down Michelle and Jess Crawford Davis routine. And I think I could watch it, quite a lot. But I think the fact that that's so fun to watch, and I think if you watch the video back, I think everyone is
To
just
be
enjoying.
perfectly clear, Calyxe is Joan Crawford.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Make sure that's 100% there.
Yeah. But everyone was watching that with such keen interest. But I really like the balance of, I think we said it last time, 2 characters who can't shut up and 2 characters who don't like talking, trying to interact, which is really fun. I loved everyone's paint the scenes. I thought that the Mouldering court and all of that environment came to life like really amazingly. And I also really loved watching again this sparring with the 2 knights, and just Jason's relentless undercutting of Ash at every single opportunity. I'm not just saying this thing to you; I'm saying it as I'm picking you up off the ground, whilst I'm chasing a fungal twink into a weird stained glass cathedral and getting swamp herpes, which is great. Thank you very much. And yeah, I just had a really fun time. I thought that Tammy Lou, Granny Lou was a big moment. I feel like we've opened a portal to the Brindleverse somewhere. But yeah, I love this session. There was the other thing. I felt it was very different. It felt so different from Elegy, and almost felt like a completely different mode of play as well. And yeah, I'm really excited and oh god, that Noxiliax stinger was badass. That was amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. So yep, top marks all around. Well done.
Star to Jess for the crucifixion of Sister Isha. I really enjoyed that description, especially when you mentioned the lungs and like that whole thing and how she has to be bound to the tree forever to just exist off of it, was really. And also, were you pulling the Fae thing from the between with the description of the oil slick stuff?
Yeah, maybe.
Thought so. I thought so.
I'm a
'Cause I
sucker
was
for
like, oh, yeah,
reincorporation.
we love it here. Theia, Michelle, I'd love to hear your song next time. We'll hear it, I'm certain. But I really enjoyed the back and forth with Jess as well, but also your interactions with Granny Lou and just managing to get your condition healed off of her immediately. I was just like, incredible work. If only. If only. That was really fun to watch and like have you weave that scene into helping yourself as well. Matt, star for Old Gore, because hey, you made it into your own show. What about that? No, that was so fun. And for those who stayed to listen long enough, we actually tested this, the couple of us before, and then we played it again, and it's still fun. It's fun again. So please don't feel concerned about running things you've run before. It's great multiple times in a row. It was so fun. And also, I don't want you to stop getting Ash in trouble, but also please stop getting Ash in trouble for my own sanity, because Jason, and star for Jason for Lord Denebray, I hate him so much. So flames on the side of my just oh my god.
Heaving breaths, heaving.
No, he's a very fun character, but I don't want to go on a journey with him. Please, no. But no, all of the side characters that we got introduced to. I love the Mouldering forest. I just love this environment, and I'm so curious about everything that we're gonna experience in here, because it already feels very different to Elegy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I really star for the Old Gore fight. That was just so fun. It was so action packed. Like just so many good little moments. Like there were so many good moments, but I particularly love the imagery of Ash like sliding under Old Gore, but like almost losing hold or whatever, and then the specter like helping. Like, that was great. It was such a cool image. I also love this sort of like parkouring and all that stuff, but all of it was great. Like, just the whole battle with Old Gore was just really terrific. Star for I love that make camp scene between actually the both paired off scenes were terrific. They were both really, really good scenes. I feel like I learned so much more about each of the characters, and I just love to see that kind of like that sort of like low stakes role play between the characters. It was really terrific. Had loads of fun with Sir Denebray and Ash. That was really, really fun for me. Also Granny Lou and Theia, for that matter, and Periwinkle. Yeah, it was all fun. I love Periwinkle. He's also a holdover from the Brindleverse, because there's a very similar character in the Between, in the Waitley Camera mystery, which we didn't do in our run of it, but he's good fun. And so yeah, it was really fun to like kind of have that little moment. Yeah, it did feel really different from Elegy, didn't it? Like it had a, which is, I guess, was the intention, but like so I shouldn't be surprised. But you could like play a few sessions on Elegy and think, okay, this is kind of what the game is like, and then you kind of get here, and there are some similarities, like the sort of crumbling rose court, like that has a kind of similar feel, like this sense of loss or whatever, but it's otherwise like quite different. Like the kind of just the environment, the sunlight, the characters that you meet, they're of a different sort. They're not like gloomy ghost characters, so I just really loved it. The Sister Isha moment was terrific. Star for that. And that's my wish as well. Like, you're all eventually you'll be taking more journeys. Sometimes you'll take journeys alone or with not all together. And so I'll be curious to see if the Crux Druid is almost built to like break away from the group, because like you're incentivized to like take journeys by yourself and to take journeys when maybe nobody else is, and so that you can stop at your oracles and harvest them, harvest their knowledge and maybe their organs. And so I'll be curious to see like if that happens, like if we get that, like if Calyxe goes off on their own to a thing. But anyway, more on that later. Yeah, I'm just really excited. I love where this is going. The role play is so good. The characters are terrific, and it's just a good time.